What's up guys, Csaba here from Game of Conversions, and I'm back with another proven sales letter breakdown video. We are on the 49th day of this challenge, and I'm gonna be doing this for about 100 days, so at around the midpoint, which is pretty cool. And to celebrate this, I've chosen a pretty cool sales letter from legendary copywriter Jim Rutz for today, and it's the famous, totally memorable "Read This or Die" promotion. And I can already imagine how this will look like in my email as an email subject line, as I'm going to use it with people on my list. But it's pretty cool. Jim Rutz, by the way, was a famous copywriter who worked at Boardroom in most cases, but obviously I had other clients as well. But the cool thing about him is that he apparently had this very unique style that he didn't really comply to any other specific copywriting formulas or something like that. He really knew how to write really extremely well, and as a result, he mentored people like David Deutsch, Paris Lampropoulos, and let's say newer wave A-list copywriters as a result. And this promotion basically showcases Jim Rutz's specific style and intelligence and copywriting abilities, because I don't know the specifics of how much money this made, but there's a story of Mel Martin. In fact, Martin Edelston, who was the founder of this big direct response company called Boardroom, that at one time Jim Rutz asked $100,000 as an upfront fee to write a promotion for them. And as Martin Edelston was discussing this with Brian Kurtz, his mentee, and also the core people at Boardroom, they were wondering whether they should pay $100,000 in the 80s or 90s to Jim Rutz upfront for something. And Martin Edelston said, "Brian, look, I mean, he already made so much money for us. I would practically give this money away to him, if for free even. To know that we're also getting a new promotion for this is basically a definite big win for Boardroom." So that's how effective Jim Rutz was. And by the way, he wanted to apparently use that $100,000 to finish a church for people who really needed that. So it was for a worthy cause as well, and that's why he wanted the money up front. But yeah, he definitely was a superhero when it comes to copywriting. And I'm not gonna cover this promotion end to end because it's 52 pages long, so it's pretty long. But this was kind of like a bookalogue. So it's basically a book, which is a sales letter in itself, but it has way more content than most sales letters. So it's basically almost pure content, and the content itself spread throughout with a bunch of fascinations and other persuasion psychology elements makes this an extremely powerful method for getting new customers, because people don't usually want to read marketing stuff. They want to read stuff that interests them, and this definitely interests them. It just so happens to be that at the end it has a call to action, and obviously right from the start it's teased that you're gonna have the chance to join a new type of opportunity with this. So let's just jump into it. So first of all, we can't really get over the headline itself, "Read This or Die." I mean, the health niche is something that has produced a lot of interesting ideas, and people have seen almost everything. But to come out with something like this, "Read This or Die," it was totally shocking for everybody. And it's definitely one of a kind, and it got people's attention. And then the subhead we have, "Today you have a 95% chance of eventually dying from a disease or condition for which there is an already a known cure somewhere on the planet. The editor of Alternatives would like to free you from that destiny." So it starts with a shocking statistic, and then it basically makes people feel like, what? What did I miss? Whoa, what's happening here? Please fill me in the loop. That's what's happening here, actually. And it looks just like a book cover, to be honest. So it's not salesy at all. It's all about curiosity, making people want to read more, also like shocking them out of their zombie state, as John Carlton used to say, but also has tons of curiosity. So then we have like this announcement, and we already get an introduction to the product itself, but actually it's not really presented as a this hard-sold product or something. It's just presented as, you know, a newsletter, alternatives, which is all about alternative help. So we have something like announcing the big news, like Jim Rutz says, the worldwide medical community has found solutions for all of the primary diseases and disorders of our time. And then we have like a hopeful intro in that, you know, now this new opportunity will help you better your life and basically save you from premature death. And then we have like a very smart objection handling element right off the bat as well, because he says like, this does not mean, of course, that every known disease will quickly vanish from the face of the earth. What this means is that, you know, there is a segment of some type of medical community that has the answer that not many people are talking about, okay? And then after it, we have like a more in-depth description of this new opportunity, which is like, actually, this claim could have been made 15 years ago because, you know, we already have various healing remedies for various stuff all throughout the world in various tribes and hidden locations, but like, it's not really common knowledge. The medical community don't want you to know it. The big pharmas, like the big 5 pharma companies, don't want you to know about it, and you know, stuff like that. So it's typical language which kind of presents these secrets as like the big players don't want you to know about it, and then there's also a lot of mystery around them. And this is really needed because you want to woo people into being interested in this. So you have to like highlight and showcase the mystery aspect of your product. And then, you know, the product itself is already mentioned. Not all, especially today, like not most VSLs or most long form promotions don't really do this, but we already get like a mission statement of this product, which is like, the Journal of Alternatives exists to bring together all those newly discovered treatment modalities and deliver them to you in formats that enable you or your patients to use them very easily. So this is mainly aimed at people like more like seniors who have health problems, or doctors who usually work with seniors who have health problems. So that's why also, you know, you want to. So that's why this promotion itself focuses on all core topics that are interesting to this target audience. So like cancer, heart disease, arthritis, aging, diabetes, you know, all these types of stuff that are metabolic diseases, or like there are the real big killers in today's Western society, at least. So this is pretty cool and smart. And then another smart thing is that instead of like trying to like sell the product immediately or something, Jim does something like a private invitation, and some higher level copywriters do this. It's like, the purpose of this bulletin is to cordially invite you to become one of us. Please see our invitation on the last page. So this is just an open loop as to like, for some percentage of people to immediately like skip to the last page, which is pretty cool because then you might get some customers by that. But also like, it sets up the stage that they won't be blindsided by the offer at the end of the promotion itself. So after it, and by the way, guys, this copy is so incredibly unique, you know. I've never seen something like this before in any other copywriter, and you'd have to read it to see it. It's very engaging. It has tons and tons and tons of cool content and valuable content. So it really is like a book. It really is like a little handy, you know, like this, as if you got glasses to look inside a new mirror world that have solved each issues that you might be facing with, okay? So it really is something really, really special. And the writing style itself is buttery smooth, but it drags you in just due to the content itself. You want to read on because you want to discover more. And it's really interesting. So, and I guess, you know, most people, like, even I'm a relatively interested person in these types of things, and I know a bunch of stuff about biology and some chemistry things and like healing remedies, but even to me, like, it's super interesting, and I could learn tons of new things. Now, not everything from this little book like age well, that's true. So like there are specific references to like weight loss, for example, that like you know, this journal predicted the rise of low-fat diets as a cure to heart disease. Well, this didn't really age well, because nowadays, you know, we know more about like weight gain and heart disease, and it's not really like it seems more and more likely that it's not about being low fat, it's more about being low carb. But who knows, maybe in 10 years or 15 years the climate is going to change again, and paleo and keto is going to go down the drain, because maybe scientists start you know, discovering new stuff, or they start, I don't know, focusing on other type of paradigms, because there's always all sorts of like research studies published, and everybody's just cherry picking what aligns with their narrative, okay? And this also does that. So it's relatively scientific, because many times you have a bunch of references as well, and then at the end it's not mentioned, but like in many cases you have tons of references, and it's really something that adds credibility to the whole piece itself. You see here, like, you know, this was published in the Journal of Clinical Epidemiology. But the thing is that anybody can go on Science Direct or NCBI and look up 10 research studies regarding anything, basically. So yeah, this is just like a cost of doing business, let's say, but just know that not everything has aged well from this, but it's still extremely good copy, and it's still well-intentioned, and it still gives people tons of real value. So here, after this little announcement part, and I have to move like a bit faster through here, because otherwise this video is gonna take like forever to do. But we have like a classic problem and solution type of thing. It's like, and it's said straight up, like, most of your friends or patients are doomed to die of some disease or disorder that has already been defeated in a medical laboratory somewhere around the world. This is the problem. And then the solution: in the most unsung victory of the modern era, foreign doctors and researchers have stopped or reversed virtually every fatal condition that has ever struck fear in your heart. By the way, these sentences are a bit, they're quite a mouthful for most people, so this wouldn't necessarily do that well for like a VSL, like a video sales letter, because you need to take a long breath to like say these sentences, but it's still very like smooth copy, and it's interesting, and that's very, very important. So another cool thing that I noticed is that Jim Rutz's copy doesn't seem formulaic at all. It's really unique, and it's really something creative. So, you know, many times copywriting is a science, and it definitely is a science here as well. But in this case, it seems like he also used a lot of creative liberties to like really think of unique ways on how to sell an idea way more differently than other promotions did. And probably that's the reason why this was more effective. So then we have a bunch of subheads, obviously. This one's like very strong and polarizing. It says, the way to dusty death is paved with ignorance. He who dies of a conquered disease dies a martyr to the cause of ignorance. And this is like said by the editor, the guru of this journal, like the face of the company, basically. I gotta give it to him. He had balls to do this, because this is super polarizing. Obviously, it's also like it definitely turns many people off or offends people, but they probably wouldn't be good buyers anyway. So let's just say it probably qualifies more buyer type of people. So after this, we like reframe the problem, and the main part that follows this is basically a part of a sales letter which cultivates a new myth in people. So the problem here is basically that, you know, apparently a lot of diseases have been cured and there's a solution to almost everything now. It's just that you don't know about it because it doesn't become it doesn't enter the mainstream conversation because of all these various external factors. And most people think that, you know, we have these diseases like cancer, heart disease, stroke, and other major killers, and then there's nothing you can do about it. But, you know, I'm here to say that now you can do a lot of things about it. And there's a bunch of great examples of like how tuberculosis or cholera or plague, you know, they're still deadly, they're still with us, they still exist in the world, but like we've solved the problem. It's like you have like a 0.00001% chance to get the plague, for example. And that's because we found a cure for it. And this is a metaphor for all the other nasty chronic diseases that are big killers today. And then basically Jim Rutz is saying that, you know, the future holds the same fate for these diseases. You know, we are going to be able to like prevent them much more and cure them much more. So, you know, at this point, he also switches into building up a new truth, and the building up the idea that, you know, whenever people like innovators come up with a new type of truth, the world tries to silence them. And he brings up examples of a bunch of inventors, like how William Harvey, you know, realized that blood circulates and he was ostracized for it, or like Louis Pasteur was ridiculed for announcing that germs cause disease. You know, he tries to establish the narrative here that he himself is also ostracized, like he as the guru of this promotion. So David Williams is ostracized for his views, but if we look at previous trends, we'll see how, you know, visionaries like David historically have been correct in their predictions. And this is why this kind of acts as a strong proof element, and that this could be the solution to our reader's problem. Then we have other elements that basically get people's heads nodding, like, you know, how what they discovered, and how the even the Journal of American Medical Association is corrupt, or like they're very timid with updates, or they don't want to offend people, or like it takes 50 years to like approve some new type of drug or something. It's really archaic. It's really inefficient, let's say. And then he agitates the pain because of this much more. So after it, he tries to position himself. So whenever I say he, I'm referring to this guy, the guru of this. Where is the name? David Williams. But I'm also referring him as to the copywriter, Jim Rutz, who wrote this whole piece in the name of David Williams. So if there's any confusion, this hopefully clears that up. So he establishes the narrative as like, I'm working for you. So I am, as David, go out in the world, I don't know, to the depths of jungles, and I find these obscure roots that have these new revolutionary compounds that that hold the key to you defeating cancer, for example. That's the narrative that Jim Rutz is establishing here. And then we have, like, you know, also the unique selling proposition of this whole alternatives medicine. So because of this narrative that is established here, you know, we get what's the mission of this alternatives newsletter and why it's different compared to the others. And then we start getting fascinations as well, because for each info product, fascinations are super powerful. Basically, they create desire for the reader to learn more, and they also create a bunch of curiosity. So like they want to learn more, but in order to learn more, they have to like read more or buy the product. And then this, like page 5, is in fact where the sales letter itself traditionally begins. And it's an amazing intro because it goes like this. Galileo Galilei, Christopher Columbus, Marco Polo, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, David Williams. Dear reader, in the great drama of human history, center stage has always belonged to gutsy pioneers who open up a new world to the common man. So it's amazing because with this, he established himself as a pioneer as well. And even if people have doubts regarding him, he just shifted the narrative in people's minds, because people now think, oh, okay, so I get it. Like, most people didn't believe Galileo Galilei when he came out with the movement of the heavens, or I don't know what was exactly the name of his book, but something like that. So they didn't believe him either, and it's totally normal if I have doubts regarding this editor of Alternatives newsletter. So naturally after this we get like an authority build-up, so we have more elements describing who this person is, and I always forget him, David. So David Williams, we get a bunch of info who David Williams is, what's his mission, what he does. And interestingly here we have Jill Eisgrau, who is the publisher of Alternatives. So it's kind of like a little intro to the main book itself, and then the rest is written by David Williams. So from here on out, from page 9 actually, most of the 52-page sales letter is actually made up of content. So it's made up of cool articles, long form articles about the most common diseases that our target audience most likely suffers from. So cancer, heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, aging, stuff like that. And he actually, like, even this first subhead, like, check it out, cancer. A new compound from Egypt and Japan has conquered cancer, reversing the disease and destroying tumors with devastating swiftness. So just like, what do most headlines need? Think about it. Well, they need a new opportunity, they need a unique mechanism, and they need a key benefit. And if you have these, you have a winner. And the new opportunity here is like the new compound, literally. The unique mechanism, basically we don't really get that much about the unique mechanism. It's just teased by this new compound, like what can it be? And the key benefit is it destroys tumors with devastating swiftness, plus it reverses the disease, it conquers cancer. So it's a very, very strong benefit and promise as well. And then the rest of this basically just gives real value, tells a real engaging story on how David went to Japan, went to Egypt, and how he discovered this cool compound called MGN3. So it's not given away, but it's teased like there's this new specific compound. And then you have a bunch of cool like specifics. As I'm just scrolling through this, I can see specifics, I can see numbers, I can see the effects of studies, I can see like citations of very reputable journals. So it seems almost like a peer-reviewed journal, but written for people who don't really speak that scientific language. So this can be understood by anyone. And then we have these big highlights, basically, which serve as either fascinations or promises, or like incredible type of benefits. So this is an incredible benefit. For example, it says cancer cells were being destroyed by the patient's own immune systems at an average rate 240% above normal. Wow, pretty cool. New discoveries, the medical community is not pushing it, supplies are somewhat limited. So why, it hasn't been popularized yet? Well, it's because of these factors. Okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. So it's a long article, by the way. And at the end of each of these big diseases, we have a tease for a bonus. It's like To find out how you can receive this special report for free, bonus 1, how to cancer-proof every cell of your body, see page 49. And page 49 is where you have the pitch for the newsletter itself, for the paid newsletter. And if you subscribe to the paid newsletter, you're gonna get like 10 bonuses and like 9 bonuses, and then you're also gonna get 10 additional bonuses if you subscribe for 2 years. So it's a really interesting build-up of value right from the beginning, and it makes people salivate more and more to get this specific offer. So after cancer, we have heart attack and stroke, another major killer around the developed world. And then we have a bunch of description about this and tease and basically a lot of fascinations, but it's not that clickbaity at all. It gives away tons of value. And then at the end, once again, the magic powder that unclogs your arteries. Wow, what can it be? Bonus 2, go to page 49 to find out. And that's once again the pitch. Arthritis, the same thing. We have some fascinations here as well, saying like a form of citral oil found only in Australia that sweeps toxins out of your joints. What can it be? An Australia-only herb that blocks new toxins from entering your joints. 2 enzymes, bromelain and papain, that enable you to absorb the other 7 ingredients. Wow, what an advanced fascination, by the way. I'm floored by this, because at first I was thinking, as I was reading this, I was thinking, he just gave away the curiosity element. Why did he do that? But then you see that there are other 7 ingredients. So it's like you already know the 2, like what can the other 7 be? Now you are invested in it, kind of, and now you really have to find out. So then we have diabetes and hypoglycemia. Same thing, same bonus, but here we have some proof elements as well, some testimonials. Killer bacteria, this is really interesting. And by the way, this is still a huge problem. And I was just listening to a podcast yesterday which talked basically about the same thing. So even after like 30 years after this promotion was written, or 25 years, we still have the same problem. And obviously this bold prediction that was made here didn't happen yet, but scientists all around the world agree that this might be a big problem, and it will be a big problem eventually. So it says, over the next 10 years, wave after wave of drug-resistant bacteria will sweep the planet, killing millions. The onslaught has already started, and modern medicine doesn't have anything in the pipeline that can stop it. Your life may depend on reading this article and spending $15 on the only known antidote. Wow, it's a bit like it's a bit aggressive, and once again, this didn't really age that well, but people still feel the same thing, and like legitimately researchers are concerned about this thing. So this part like creates huge curiosity. So again, we have a bunch of examples of killer bacteria, and walk through the meat section of your supermarket, and 30 to 50% of your chickens you see are contaminated with salmonella. I mean, I wouldn't say that. So this is a little bit bold, but and it's a bit too hypey, let's say. But it definitely highlights an unfortunate trend that's happening, is that most of the meat that you eat is like full of various bacteria, and they have to be pumped with even more antibiotics just so that they don't die of all types of diseases. So maybe this refers to like chicken in the warehouse and not the chickens that you see in the store. Okay, so a lot of cool content once again, and boom, you have another bonus. Then, osteoporosis. And here we have an amazing testimonial. Like, look at this, the design for this. How cool is that? It's like the editor got this cool testimonial from the president of Nicaragua. Okay, so then they send their regards regarding this product. Okay, so then we have like a false myth. You've been told that osteoporosis can never be reversed. That's no longer true. So it's like, once again, what good sales pages do is that they reframe false myths and already existing false beliefs. And they like the sales page itself explains how, you know, there are new opportunities that can make your already existing false beliefs no longer valid. So we have more info on osteoporosis and aging, obviously a big thing for our target market. Skincare, for skin cancer, one of the leading causes of cancer. So this is also super important here. One more bonus, the natural cure for skin cancer. And then after these 9 different disease types, then we have a philosophical question, which says, do you have what it takes to stand out from the herd? And we have some cool pictures as well. And after this, you know, we get different types of info, but it's very important to have this type of question, in my opinion, because at this point, so until this point, people were consuming information. And from here on out, it tries to involve the reader more and more. And that's why I think Jim Rutz asked, do you have what it takes to stand out from the herd? The herd being all the sheeple who still believe that the only way to cure various diseases is to have surgery. That's it. Or do you want to be like this enlightened person? And obviously people like to be the enlightened person, so this connects with them really well. And this, wow, I think this was the MVP, so the most valuable part of the sales letter for me specifically. Is just so powerful. It's a quote from this David Williams, who is like the face of this brand, and it goes like this: it's not the death threats that really get me. It's not the poisonous snakes and the filthy foreign jails, the hate campaigns from medical bureaucrats, or even the occasional bush plane that falters in midair. It's watching 2 million Americans die every year when I could tell them about a cure in 30 seconds. Let this sink in a little bit, dear viewer, how super powerful this is, because it establishes this David Williams guy as this incredibly honorable and honest and knowledgeable person. So it builds a lot of authority and credibility and likability for him as well, which is super important whenever we want people to buy something from you. You want to establish something called the know, like, and trust factor. So the know, like, and trust. So, you know, this is the part which starts talking about inviting people to join the special ranks of people who read the alternatives magazine or newsletter, okay? And then he already qualifies people. It's like, this is for you if you blah blah blah, this, that, and that, and then here's what I can do for you. And this basically just describes the unique mechanism of the solution, like how this the alternatives magazine itself is different and how it works. So basically David goes out all around the world, like to the searing Australian outback, or like schmoozing with tribal elders around a campfire in icy Nepal, swatting tsetse flies in African jungles, or enjoying a croissant and tea with executives in a zillion-dollar research facility in France. So it's, wow, it's like, this is a great example of show, don't tell in copywriting. It's like Jim Rutz doesn't just describe these things, but he really like transports the reader to those specific settings. Because like, who would come up with something like schmoozing with tribal elders around the campfire in icy Nepal? Like, it really is something that makes it super credible. So basically the shtick here is that he goes out to various remote areas of the world. He examines healing methods that he founds there, examines whether patients really get better from this, and then if, you know, everything makes sense, then he starts publishing those findings in Alternatives magazine, okay? And then we also get these mini stories all around the place from like interesting adventures that he had throughout his journey. And he's kind of like Indiana Jones to me, now that I think about it. So he is like the Indiana Jones of the regular senior citizens who want to get better treatment options for various chronic diseases. That's what he is actually. So he also describes a lot of his adventures, including how he got divorced twice, for example, because like he was on the road 200 days a year. So this just means for the reader that he's super dedicated to the reader. He's more dedicated than to his wife, okay? So this, once again, builds not necessarily likability in everybody, but it definitely builds authority and credibility. And he also, how he made amazing discoveries and wondrous stories. It's exciting, and that's what readers want. They want to read something that's exciting, that brightens their day. John Colton said that, you know, you want to be the one thing that really brightens the day of your reader, that shocks them out of their zombie state. And this is really true, and Jim Rutz did a masterful job here. And then we have a bunch of proof and credibility sections to like build up the aura of David even more, because the subhead goes like this: remember, you saw it here first. And then a bunch of predictions that he made, like regarding shark cartilage or coenzyme Q10 or garlic, or like how aspirin a day, you know, is not really a good idea, or like the aluminium connection or melatonin or ginkgo biloba. You know, all these things, they provide proof because they are a list of correct predictions that he made before, you know, in the past, in this journal or in other journals as well. So these are very important for especially for financial promotions. Every good financial promotion today has these types of things, like how I, the guru, have predicted this and that, you know, the stock market crash, and this stock's gonna go up and that stock's gonna go down. And obviously, once again, it's cherry-picked data, but like it's still pretty cool. But this, as I said, didn't age well, like heart disease diet, like how I, David, 20 years ago, you know, shown how low-fat diets could reverse heart disease. Well, it's not really that simple. So, and then at the right here, we have like a logical connection, which is very effective. I was just listening to a lesson from Stefan Georgi, one of the best health copywriters at the moment. Stefan, if you're watching this, like, I'm a huge fan. You're doing excellent, amazing work. And there's logical connection here. So, you know, point number one, someone on earth has discovered a cure to something. Point number two, you know, the best is yet to come. There's a huge opportunity here. Point number three, with all the good news, you know, most cures start popping up, but like how companies reject 100 of them, but like you're gonna get access to the one which gets approved. And then it just makes sense. It's reason why copy, as Gary Bensevenga said it, and it's needed, because whenever you make a case for something, you gotta think like a lawyer a little bit. It's like how can you construct like a logical agreement from A to B to C to D to E, okay? All these things. And yeah, it's super effective this way. And then at the end we get a conclusion as well. So the end result is that people will start feeling like this just makes sense. And you know what? After reading this conclusion, I can confidently say that the same type of logic that's here also applies to today's world as well. After reading this, like this totally makes sense in today's world in 2021 as well. So then we have even more authority about David G. Williams. You know, he's in the lab, he has the white coat, he looks like almost like Indiana Jones, you know. What more do you want? Like, he's an adventurer, he's Indiana Jones, he's a doctor, he's in the lab, he scours the world for cures for you, you know. Some interesting facts about him which serve as more proof and also makes him more likable. And then finally here we get, well, not finally, we still have more to go, sorry, but like we still move into a more sales-oriented part of this whole piece, which is the description of the 10 extra bonuses that you get when you when you pay for a 2-year subscription. So the normal offer here is a 1-year subscription, but the sales letter immediately jumps to the better deal. It's like, hey, this is what you get. And the reason I think why Jim Rutz did this is because it's way worse if you take away something from people. So at first, you know, he highlights all the 10 cool extra bonuses that you get, but then he describes that if you only take the 1 year, these bonuses get taken away from you. So then you only get 9 bonuses. And if you take this, you get 19 bonuses. So I think that's the reason for this. People are more likely to do something if it turns out that not doing that thing would result in them losing something. Okay, hope this makes sense. But like, this is kind of the upsell. So we have a short description of the 10 extra bonuses, and then you see here's the powerful offer. Get all 10 of these special reports free with your 2-year subscription. And then we have another bonus, which is like a fast action bonus. So in total, you're getting 20 bonuses. So think about it for a minute. This is like I think the cost for the 2-year subscription here is like $89 or something. So it's a low price product, relatively low price. And like, they're giving away 20 different bonuses for that. Think about it. Most people don't even have a single bonus when they're selling something, and these guys are giving away 20 bonuses. It's amazing because it's such a big value stack in people. And even though you might, I don't know, put these bonuses into a single book and then it would be like one bonus, but like positioned like this, it's a huge value stack. So it's pretty cool. And you also get like the speed bonus if you order within 10 days. So this is the fast action bonus. So here's like the list of benefits that you get when you subscribe, and bonus stacking. So it's like you get special reports 1 through 9 if you buy the 1 year, and you get, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9. It just seems less to me. And then you get 10 more if you buy the 2-year version. The 2-year version, yes. And then we have some more important points here, is that like there's a money back guarantee, and we're gonna actually save you money, and your life is gonna improve. And you know, I will also tell you how to use this in conjunction with your doctor or like your general practitioner. You know, so it's an overwhelming amount of value. And then we have the order form, page 49. This has been teased on all, so after all disease, you know, remember those little things that talked about bonuses at the end of these little chapters? So look at this, bonus 7. To find out how you can receive this special report free, see page 49. Well, I go to page 49, and the way to receive this free is to basically buy the 2-year subscription or the 1-year subscription. So pretty cool. This is the order form. We have this cool question which says, well, what are you waiting for? The only one thing stands between you and problem-free health. You haven't sent this in yet. Yeah, this is just to motivate people a little bit, and we have a bunch of very big check marks. And I think the reason for this is to get people to have more micro commitments, because like, check this out, like speed bonus. I'm replying within 10 days. Please send me bonus report number 20, 3 steps to better supplementation free. So most people are going to check this, obviously, but if they check this, they're much more likely to also check this. And that's what you want actually. So we have a first person focused call to action, a big like little yes, which version they want, and then the payment options, credit card or money order. So that's it basically. This is the checkout page in essence. So after it, we have like a little image of how the envelope itself looked like, because this was in direct mail days. So it's like, after you read this bulletin, you probably won't die of cancer, won't die of a heart attack, won't die of stroke, won't die of diabetes or any other common condition. So it's interesting, definitely. For every illness, there is a country where it simply doesn't exist. This bulletin will tell you why. Who wouldn't open it? Tell me. Who wouldn't open it if they were in the target audience? I think that almost everybody would open it, because why not? it seems very, very interesting. So yeah, that's it for Jim Rutz's famous Read This or Die sales letter. It's really something unique. So it's not so formulaic at all. And although we can easily well, not so easily, but we can find the common things that are woven through this sales argument, but still almost nobody else uses this specific style. There are a bunch of common elements, but like how Jim Rutz implemented this here, it's really something unique, and I gotta give huge credit to him. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He passed away years ago, but thank you so much, Jim Rutz, for doing this amazing promotion. And thank you, reader, dear viewer, as well, for watching this. If you're still here, it means you have to be one of my biggest fans. So kudos to you. I really applaud you for it. And if you're still reading this, or watching this, I don't know why I'm always saying reading. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and watch out for other videos in the future, because I'm doing these breakdowns every single day until I reach 100. So pretty cool stuff there. And with that being said, have a nice day. See you in the next one.